This is really bad. Really bad. We knew the situation with Rekieta was already not good, to say the least, right? But this takes it to a whole other level. I'm not trying to be funny about this. Not trying to play this up. It's pretty messed up, man. It's really dark. And I suppose people have been saying that from the beginning. You know, don't make jokes about it. There's kids involved. Yeah, we know there's kids involved. But to what extent? Like, of course, by now you know Nick Rada and his wife and his side piece were busted for lots of Snow White, lots of powder, lots of booger sugar in there in the home, right? I've got to say allegedly. I mean, that was on the evidence sheet. So, and I don't believe the police just planted that. So, no, I won't say allegedly on that one. It was there. They found stuff. I guess be like, well, he wasn't really using it, but that ship has sailed. Come on now. You've seen the streams. Now, you probably already know that as kids, since they were in a home, and if you're using hard adult candy or party favors in the home with kids, then they typically get removed from the home and placed in protective custody. No, that's a better word for it. So you get placed in either with family members or in foster care, things like that. So that has happened, of course we know. But what has been revealed recently from a document that some people kind of wonder the legitimacy of this document, I think it does look pretty legit. You're not going to be able to really find, unless the person really wants to risk their job and all, find the actual document itself. I mean, it's always a possibility. I mean, weird things could happen. Weirder things have happened, and but usually, like CPS, I'm going to say CPS. I think they call it something different in Minnesota. Okay, those documents are very, very protected, very classified, because no one really needs to see that other than the department, the court, and the family involved. They rarely ever get leaked, and I don't think you would be able to do a FOIA request on them at all because you're not a party to that, and good luck. But it was leaked, and I believe the document was real. There was like stains on it that looked pretty legit. Like continue. I mean, if it was doctored, if it was fake, then it was a really good fake. But I am 99% sure it is very real. And in that document, according to that document, and it's it looks like an affidavit for court, written by Minnesota CPS. The kids were given a drug test. That's right. Rekieta's kids were given a drug test. Hair follicle. And hair follicle goes back pretty far back, and it probably chose hair follicle because booger sugar was involved. And when something like that's involved, yeah, you're definitely using hair follicle. And one of the kids' hair follicle test came back positive. And so that begs the question, how is that possible? Right? Some people be like in denial, in shock with the information, which I understand. You don't really want to believe that it's true. But you can't deny reality. The document is there. It's legitimate. And in that document, it said the following. And it said that the particular child, I'm not going to say the name, I'm not going to say the age either. Well, it's just a young child. And came back, had a hair follicle test, and it came back positive for Snow White. Okay? And with that, you have to ask yourself, okay, these drug tests, since they are testing the metabolite, not the actual drug itself, that means, that would have to mean that it was in her system. that she had ingested it somehow. How? When? Like, that's insane. That doesn't make any sense. But it does. Because it's right there. I understand it's difficult to kind of wrap your mind around. It can be. If you're really factoring like the gravity of the situation. What it means for Rekieta is that he's not going to see his kids for a long time. They're going to remain in protective custody. They're going to remain in foster care. They might, I don't know if they're in kinship placement right now. They probably are. But if that doesn't hold out, they're probably going to go to foster care. And Nick Rada and his wife are going to have to go through a series of drug tests, parenting classes, rehabilitation, rehab. There's a bunch of steps. If you've ever been involved in CPS, if you've ever been on the other side where the whole department is pretty much, I guess you could say, against you, they'll say that they're on your side, that they want to try to help you do better. You choose how you want to believe it. There's a lot of hurdles to go through. And you don't really have a lot of good cards to play. You really don't. You really don't. You pretty much have to do what they say when they say. Do really good to prove that you're doing better. But just know that there's like this heavy bias against you when you're dealing with like CPS. And it's true. Like when, of course, I'm just talking about when it comes to like Texas for my involvement with that and working with them. Families that enter like the CPS system where their kids are placed in, out of the home and all that, and the family has to do services, there is definitely a bias against them. There's this stigma, and there's like this like very steep uphill climb that the families have to go through, which I understand. They have to prove that not only are they clean, that they've changed, that they could be reliable and trusted. And keep in mind, if another intake comes in with that family involved, it's a high risk case, and chances are high that the kids will be removed again, just based on risk, based on history. So what I'm saying here is that Nick Rekieta and his wife, the odds are against him that they will not see their kids. If you were to bet how this plays out, it's not going to play out well. I'd bet, well, actually, the odds are so against him that if you bet on that, you might actually win. Okay, but what I'm saying here is they're not going to see their kids. And that sucks, but at the same time, that's the bet they made. So I don't have any empathy there. Somebody asked why it took so long for this document to come out, because it came out around the time Nick Rada was doing his first YouTube live stream. For that, what I could say is this is obviously from my experience working for CPS, Department of Family Protective Services in Texas. And so the initial hearing was most likely ex parte, and that affidavit is usually pretty rough. The caseworkers are writing that within a matter of hours, very fast, probably have typos all over the place, probably very rushed. Just getting the key points in there. They're working at midnight, working with little sleep, and they're also making phone calls and working on other cases too at the same time. If you ever want to experience hell, be a CPS worker. It is like the worst thing you could possibly do. It will age you faster than trucker speed, okay, or meth. But so that affidavit was obviously filed when the kids were first picked up. So okay, now they have a new hearing. Yeah, there's going to be a new hearing, and there's a new affidavit written to kind of confirmed things after more information was found, and I think that explains that document there. I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, that's one reason why the timing is the way it is. It could be because of that. But it is not looking good for Nick. And this is pretty dark. Guys, I don't know how to make this funny. You know, it's pretty dark news. Pretty heavy stuff. It's just, man, I guess the takeaway here, the moral of the story is when you see a YouTuber and they present themselves as the family man or whatever, kind of wonder what's really going on, right? It's fair and justified to wonder what is really going on here. And they're probably not how they present themselves. So with that said, you guys take it easy and have a good one.